Hello. I started on this bigger panel yesterday, just at the end of the day. It's 20 by 30, so it's quite a bit bigger than I'm used to do, well, than I've been doing recently. But I'm working on a hillside in the distance, which I shall show you there. And I just want to show you, because my technique changes a little bit when I'm painting on a bigger scale, or at least in this case, I'm going to be using a different brush to one I would use, on the smaller panels. So I'm just going to show you that now. So this is as far as we've got in the well, this morning I've been working on this. And you've got this hillside that's covered in trees here. In the photograph, there's the odd gap through where you can see fields and things like that. I might do that, but I probably won't make much of a feature of it. And where I would normally use on a smaller scale something like this rigger brush here, Rosemary & Co. Series 771, you've probably heard me talk about it a million times. And I would use anything from a size 2 or a size 1, and just use, what I try and do is get a sort of slight triangular effect on each individual leaf or each canopy, and I can do that quite well with this, but using a brush like this will make this picture take forever, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to this brush, which is once again by Rosemary & Co, and it's a short flat ivory. It's a size 0, and that, I'll show you, produces a similar look, but it's on a slightly larger scale, so it makes it a bit quicker to do. So let's get going on that now, and I'll show you how to do it. Now, although in the photograph you've got quite a variation of colours, and each tree has more definition, so you've got like this edge here, for example, might be a slightly warmer green, and it sort of just pulls out that tree a little bit more, makes it look a little bit separate from the rest of them. But I'll do that afterwards. I just want to get almost a base layer of colour in here first, and there's not much variation, but there will be. We'll work on that. So what I'm doing, I've got the colour mixed here. I want to be careful that I don't damage the brush, so I'm only going to drag downwards like this and try and pick up. And the paint is quite thick. It's got no white spirit, no thinner with it at all, no liquid, nothing. It's just straight from the tube. In fact, it's probably dried a little bit more because it's been sitting here for most of the morning. So it's got a tacky sort of nature to it, and I'm just dragging the brush across it to pick it up, to keep that nice sharp brush. And then coming back to the panel, I'm just using the very corner of it, so I'm laying the brush down sort of diagonally like that. And if you can see, if I'll do just down here, can you see it's doing a sort of almost like a triangle, each individual mark, and I'm just I'm just pushing the brush against it. I'm not wiping it or anything like that. I'm just using that very corner, and it's giving me that triangular look. And that's pretty much what I want to do over the whole thing, and I think that makes quite a nice looking sort of canopy. It does look quite regular, and maybe right at the very end I'll go over it with a fan brush just in areas to make it look a little bit less regular. But I find that works really, really well. So I'm mixing the paint, and then maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, turn it over to do the other corner, perhaps another 7 or 8 there, and then I go back and pick up more paint. So give that a try. Also, I'll just add that the area underneath, which it was a glaze I put on, a darker glaze, I did that first thing this morning, that's now pretty much dry. So the reason that isn't mixing at all is because I'm painting on a dry bed. So give that a try. also, I will say, I'm not copying the photograph that faithfully. If I did, I'd be here all day. Well, I'd be here for weeks. I'm going to be here all day. But I will be here for weeks doing just this background here, and it's not necessary, so I'm just sort of copying it roughly. I'm trying to get the colours as near as I can. But yeah, and obviously just trying to, I don't want it to look too solid, so I'm making sure I keep the shapes a little bit different. Okay, so I've got that base sort of layer of sort of that green in there now. I need to just make a little bit more of these canopies and use a sort of like a warmer colour just to pick out the tops of the canopies, because at the moment it's looking a little bit flat, which is going to happen because I've only used the one colour, but by putting in slightly different tones and perhaps giving it a bit more lightness to those canopies, it's going to pull it out a little bit more and make it look a little bit more 3D. So all I've done is mixing the colour that I had already mixed, these greens here. I've gone over with a bit of cadmium yellow, medium I believe it is, light hue even, and some burnt sienna just to warm it up a little bit. And I've also added a touch of white. Last but not least, I'm going to use this fan brush here, and I'm just going to, using the corner, a bit like I did using that small hog brush, I'm going to use the corner, and it's going to give me a little bit of a more raggedy look to the canopies. So there's less of a pattern there, they're less regular. And it's just one of those little techniques that I use to make it look a bit more real, because you know, I think sometimes you can be in danger of it looking a little bit too neat. And I think just putting a little bit over the top, just at the very end, will stop that from happening. And I think it just gives you that sort of, you know, realness. You don't need to do too much. I mean, I literally just go over some of the tops of the canopies, and it also, the paint's going on a touch thicker, so it pulls it out a little bit more, makes it look a bit stronger, because I think that's one of the things that this is lacking compared to the photograph. It does tend to look slightly flat, which is all right in this picture, because once you get the trees in either side here and this one here, which are that bit nearer, it'll help give it that depth. Obviously, if this background was a little bit too detailed and too sharp, then you would lose the illusion of sort of depth of field. So although there's a fair amount of work has gone into it, I think I've sort of maintained a certain amount of that sort of softness, because I think there's less contrast. And I think we're pretty much there with that now. I don't think there's a lot left to do with regard to this bit. One thing I am going to do is I'm just going to define the top a little bit more, but I don't think I'm going to do that today. I think I might get on with the rest of it and then come back to that when it's dry. For no other reason than I just can't be bothered to do it now. I'm sick of doing these trees. But you can certainly see how that gives you a slightly less regular look. And you can go over a lot of it doing that. Just sort of putting in slightly different shades, different tones. There we go. I think that will do. Hope you enjoyed that and you gained something from it. It's an interesting way of doing it, especially if you're doing a bigger panel. So give it a try. Let me know how you get on. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see the completion of this picture, I'll be putting more videos up in the next week or so. So tune in to see how I complete it. See you all later.